Now, the clock is ticking for the biggest mass transit system in the nation. New York's Metropolitan Transit Authority needs $12 billion of federal funds by late March to avoid drastic cuts to the subway and commuter rail service and the bus service as the coronavirus has decimated revenue and ridership. Mass transit providers will have an advocate in President-elect Joe Biden, but we want to talk about that just a little bit, though. The MTA needs $12 billion. They're going to talk about their budget later today. They're supposed to approve the budget. But even most recently, in the last couple of hours, the MTA said it'll consider issuing about $2.9 billion of bonds. This is just one way, but it needs way more money. And just a little bit of background, I've been reporting on this extensively for Bloomberg Radio. I did that 6-part radio series on reopening the MTA.
Which was fantastic.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, I learned a lot about it. You know, half of the MTA's ridership comes, or half of the MTA's budget comes from ridership as well as fares and fares on the tollways. So this is a really big thing. And we also learned today that Metro North ridership is so far down about 82% during the pandemic.
Yeah.
The lowest ridership on the MTA was down to about 90%. And that just completely messed with revenues here.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know that bondholders, this next bond sale, it may actually work out better than one thinks, because bondholders seem to think that the MTA is still a good investment. But back then, the MTA also so far got about $3.8 billion in federal funding. It's looking for more. But a lot of this will be contingent upon a stimulus, because we know that the latest stimulus still hasn't gone through Congress yet. So people are closely watching what the Biden administration's response would be to this, Scarlett.
And for the MTA, the hope is that Joe Biden can be its savior. He's known as Amtrak Joe. It's kind of the core of his identity. He's a longtime champion of public transportation.
Right.
I mean, for decades, he rode the train between D.C. and Wilmington so he could be home with his children at night. As a senator, he was a big supporter of Amtrak funding, and it's hoped that when he takes office, he won't punish New York for being a blue state the way that the current administration has. Now, Joe Biden takes office, January 20th? That is 1 month after the MTA approves its 2021 budget. So in the meantime, the MTA has to make some tough choices.
Very tough choices. So we'll see what they may choose to cut. I mean, ridership is already down, so they're thinking about cutting service to trains and buses and possibly raising the price to do that. So we'll see what that'll look like.
More costly fares for less service, just what everyone wants.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.